Find the inverse of the one-to-one function f of x equal to plus the square root of 3 plus x. Remember that we can only find the inverse of a one-to-one function. The first thing we'll do is that we let y equals f of x so that we don't work with a cumbersome expression f of x. This is y equal to plus the square root of 3 plus x. Then we isolate x. That is the next step. To isolate x, where x is inside the radical, we would need first isolate the radical 3 plus x. So we will subtract 2 from y, or subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. To get to x, we need to get rid of the radical, and to do that, we will square both sides of the equation. The radical squared will cancel out. This will give us y minus 2, the whole quantity squared, equals 3 plus x. But remember that every time we square something, we have to pay attention to the domain later on. The last step is to isolate x, so x equals y minus 2 squared minus 3. Rewrite it, we have x equals y minus 2 squared minus 3. We would interchange the role of x and y. This will give us y equals x minus 2 squared minus 3. And lastly, we would write y as the inverse function. And so the answer is f inverse of x equals x minus 2 squared minus 3. Although this function is not one-to-one, it is a parabola and it doesn't pass the horizontal line test, so it is not one-to-one. The given function is the square root function. It is one-to-one. And so we would need to restrict the domain so that we only end up with one side of this parabola. To restrict the domain of the inverse function, we would need to go back to the original function and look at its range. For this function, we know that the square root of something can never be negative, and so the smallest number the square root of 3 plus x can be is 0. What that means is that the range of this function has to be the y value that is at least 2, y greater than or equal to 2. The range of the function f is the domain of f inverse, and so to restrict the domain, we simply put in the restriction where x is greater than or equal to 2. Remember again that the domain of the function f is the range of f inverse, and the range of the function f is the domain of f inverse. So if we want to restrict the domain of f inverse, then we would need to find the range of f. But also remember that we would need to switch y to x, x to y.